getting there, my son. Fucking getting there. Manchester United 2, Bournemouth 1. Really delighted to get that victory there. At the desk from Marcus Rashford. I thought we'd drawn the game. I thought another 2 points fucking thrown down the toilet pan. But Manchester United have somehow turned this game on its head. This was a game of two halves. Now, there are negatives and there are also positives to take from this game. We've seen almost the same lineup as we put out last week, apart from Marcus Rashford dropping to the bench in place of Alexis Sanchez. And I was pretty happy with that starting lineup, to be honest. I didn't think Marcus Rashford played very well in that game the previous week, done okay, but wasn't outstanding in that previous game against Everton. And I thought Alexis Sanchez deserved to have his chance down the middle, which he performed very, very well in his final full season at Arsenal, scoring 30 plus goals for them. I've been crying out to see that, but it certainly wasn't Alexis Sanchez's game. But Manchester United were so bad in that first half. From the off, Bournemouth were so much better than Manchester United, attacking so much more intent than Manchester United. Manchester United couldn't get close to them. They had numerous chances in that opening minutes. David De Gea pulling off a good save with his legs. Okay, the Bournemouth bloke went out a bit too wide, and then eventually they got that goal from Wilson. It was coming from Manchester United. The problems were there from the off, and it is just so disappointing that Manchester United are starting these games so poorly lately, putting ourselves 1-0 down. There's only one clean sheet this season from Manchester United, and David De Gea didn't have a bad game today, which is worrying for Manchester United, that Manchester United have conceded 18 goals in the Premier League. You're looking at Manchester City with only, I think, conceding 3 and Liverpool conceding 4. That is where Manchester United need to be striving to if we are to be up near the top any time in the next year or two. You're looking at our goals for, it is not as bad as it has been in previous seasons under the likes of Louis van Gaal. We're scoring 1 or 2 goals in most games, but we're letting so many goals in. That is costing Manchester United. Even against Chelsea we scored 2 but let in 2, and against Newcastle letting 2 in, against teams that that is a team, Newcastle, that we shouldn't be letting 2 in against, and we're just letting too many goals in. But we've somehow got ourselves back in this game. Fred had a good chance to get Manchester United level, and then Martial putting the ball into the back of the net, continuing his fantastic goal scoring run at this moment in time, and I'm really pleased. Hopefully he can continue this, because we've seen this in the past. Where he has scored a few goals and then he's gone into a dry spell. Maybe he's that sort of player. Wayne Rooney was a bit like that, would get goals in spurts and then maybe go 6 or 7 games without a goal. But Manchester United always had so many options to find the back of the net with other players, and Martial is obviously having to carry the can at the moment with no Lukaku even on the bench today. There was reports that he was injured. I think he was just given a rest today, to be honest. He's played a lot of football lately, and even last week he came off the substitutes bench against Everton, where there was no need to really when we were 2-0 up. Now, second half, Manchester United have come out a lot better, and to be honest, Bournemouth, really rude missing them chances, to be honest, in that first half, because they could have been 3 or 4-0 up. I think that is the worst half of football I've seen from Manchester United in a long time. We've had some bad results this season. 3-1s against, Brighton, West Ham, losing 3-0 at Tottenham. Okay, the Tottenham one wasn't a bad performance in large parts of it, but we lost 3-0 there. And that was probably the worst half of football we've played in any of them games, I think. Just absolutely terrible. But second half has come out and it's been completely different. Jose Mourinho has probably given the players a rollicking, and I just don't know why we're starting games like that. But Manchester United come out and been much more on the front foot. Had a lot more chances in that second half. Begovic has had to pull off some saves. Nathan Ake has had to block one on the line when Rashford has come on and Herrera have come on. Fred wasn't at his best today, but a lot of people wanted Matic to come off, but he took Fred off, and that really did change the game for Manchester United. Herrera was so much better than Fred, caused them so much more problems, had a couple of great chances to score. One was almost in the top corner. It was whiskers away from going in the back of the net. And Manchester United pushed and I thought a goal was coming, and then into injury time I thought, shit, if we push too hard we're probably going to let one in ourselves. But we pushed and eventually Rashford got a goal from a Paul Pogba cross into the box. Nice cross from Pogba. Pogba a lot better in that second half. Was so bad in the first half, and we've seen that a few times lately, that Pogba's been poor in the first half and then a lot better in the second half. You've got to be on your game throughout the whole 90 minutes. This is a 90 minutes game of football, and we cannot afford to do this in the upcoming games. But real positive, Manchester United getting that goal. Rashford probably should have had one earlier. when it was blocked on the line, but who gives a fuck? Manchester United got the goal and we saw it off. I really thought though that Manchester United were going to push too hard and let Bournemouth get a goal, but we had to go for the win. We couldn't afford a draw in this game. If we'd pushed and lost this game, I would have said, okay, we've lost the game, we deserve to probably lose it in that first half anyway, but at least we had a go and tried to push for the win. And we didn't even push for the draw against Juventus, so at least we pushed and pushed for the win, and we finally got that goal. I just didn't think right at the end it was coming. 10-15 minutes from the end, I did think that we would get it, but when it got into the injury time, I thought we'd had it. But so pleased to get that victory because we really desperately needed it. This is a team that is above us in the league. But first half did look like men against boys for Manchester United. But second half, somehow we're pulling it out the bag. But it is a game of two halves, so who gives a shit if we keep winning? But we've got to sort this defence out at the back. I just don't think some of them players at the back are fit enough to play, good enough to fit into Manchester United. Smalling and Ashley Young certainly are just not good enough for Manchester United over the long haul. Players that can't even get in the England team, we've got to sort them problems out there. And who knows, can Manchester United sort them problems out in January? I think that late goal there may have just saved Jose Mourinho's bacon, because a draw in this game would have been failure for Manchester United, to be honest, because we're probably not going to win either of our next two games. I'm not being negative, but I think we've got Juventus and Man City coming up now. Who knows, if we won both them games, things could change around. We got that draw against Chelsea and things changed around a little bit, so who knows. We've got to go into them games trying to get the win in both games. No point in going into them games. The Juventus one, we could accept a draw, but we're not going nowhere in that group. We've got to do something to try and get back in pole position in order to finish second in that group. And the Man City one, we will have to go into that game and try and win the game, because we've got to get something out of that. We've really got to try and get 3 points to stir us back further up the league, because some of the other teams are going to win again today. Okay, Liverpool are playing Arsenal, so hopefully that can be a draw, and Manchester United can kick on up the league now, because the likes of Tottenham and Arsenal have dropped points in recent weeks, so hopefully we can claw the gap back on this and try and push for a minimum of a top four place. It shouldn't be a top four, we should be challenging for the title, but unless dramatic things change in January, I just don't see where we're even going to challenge for the top four still. I just think that games like today, we're going to come unstuck again. 9 times out of 10, we would have come unstuck today. But you can't be too negative, because that second half change around. And I will give Jose Mourinho credit on the changes that he made, bringing Herrera and Rashford on. Both of them two players changed the game around, and Jesse Lingard also having chances to score as well. So I will give Jose Mourinho credit today. He got the substitutions spot on there for me. Bringing Herrera on was a massive impact for Manchester United, and obviously Rashford getting the goal. So credit there where it is due. I gave him a lot of stick after that Juventus game for not making a substitution, but this is where I give him credit, where credit's due. I can't see Jose Mourinho lasting until Christmas. I'm still not sure he is the man to take Manchester United forward, with players not wanting to play for the guy. But who knows? Things can change around, things could happen, and Manchester United could go on a run. Things could change, but at this moment I just don't see that happening. But I will give him credit for today, for where he has changed the game around second half, and he's got Manchester United back into the game. He gets paid big money to make them changes in the second half. He's made the changes and they've worked. Against Juventus, didn't make any changes and it didn't work. So that is the differences there. You get paid big money for people criticising you and for praising you, and I've criticised him in recent weeks, and today I give him praise for that second half comeback for Manchester United. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the game. How pleased are you that Manchester United beat Bournemouth 2-1? Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll talk to you all again soon.